Hi, I'm Mike Giddick from Gobbler. I'm the VP of Business Development here. We're here at the NAMM show in beautiful booth 5499. It's us and a company called G Technology.
So I see this great poster here, Gobbler iOS API. Tell me about that.
Well, yeah, we're actually demoing for the first time an iOS API that will allow iOS app makers to integrate Gobbler functionality directly into their apps. So 3 really core workflows. It's one, getting files off the iOS device onto the desktop. So if you're working on the road, you're working in the car, you're working on the train, you can get that file at home when you get to the house, iOS to iOS. So if you're working with a buddy and you want to send a sample or some presets or a patch or even a whole file, one click off to the other person. And then desktop to iOS. So if you work on something at home and you want to pick it up on the train or you pick it up on the go, it'll be waiting for you on the iPad. You can download it immediately.
That's pretty big news, right?
It is some pretty big news. Yeah, you know, it's something we've been working on for a while, and yeah, we're really excited about it. You know, we've had some really great feedback from developers here. I am very excited to see somebody put it to practice.
I guess Dropbox does it, doesn't it, to a degree, but yours is different.
Yeah, Dropbox does it to an extent, but Dropbox, you really have to focus on the Dropbox container. Integrating their API for developers is often pretty complicated. With us, you just tell us what to look for, we find it, and we make sure that you can integrate it the way that you want to. So it's a much more flexible system, it's much more dynamic, and it's focused on an audio workflow. So it's really going to work the way that you expect it to work, and work the way that a developer would expect it to work.
So just give me a kind of recap on what Gobbler is and what it does.
So Gobbler is a cloud platform for audio creators. We've really built a system that focuses on 2 things. One is the sexy world of data management, so making sure that your files are organized and backed up. You know where they are. You know that if you have that really horrible moment in the studio when something happens, you've got that safety valve that you can go to Gobbler and grab it. We automatically version projects as you're working, so we're constantly taking snapshots, making sure that you've got everything. And Gobbler actually does this really interesting thing where we read into your DAW session and collect all the files that you need, so that if you forget something, or if something's on an external hard drive, or if it's on a folder somewhere randomly buried in your computer, Gobbler knows and it grabs it for you. You don't have to think about it, you know it's all going to be there. And the second big thing we do is we aid in collaboration, so we make it really easy for you to work with somebody who's in another place, another studio, another country, sending things back and forth. It's fully encrypted. We do data deduplication on uploads and downloads, so you never send the same thing twice. So it's just about taking the time away from managing data and getting things to and from, and being able to focus on your music, because as you probably well know, and as a lot of your viewers and listeners know, at the end of the day, there's nothing worse than at 2 o'clock in the morning having to sit and wait for a bunch of backups to go through, or sit and wait for a 50 gig file to go through to somebody else in another studio.
Yeah, I mean, music's become so much about IT, hasn't it, really, to a degree?
It is, and musicians shouldn't have to be IT people. You shouldn't have to have an IT background to set up a RAID system. You shouldn't have to be an IT person to actually understand where your files are. And that's actually part of the reason that we're working with G-Tech right now. You know, we identified that hard drives are here to stay. People love local storage. And so how can we make a hard drive more intelligent? How can we make it work more synchronously with the cloud? And that's really what we're up to now. We just started this partnership, so there's some pretty interesting things in the works, and pay attention, stay tuned, there's going to be some fun stuff.
So do you work with any kind of data compression to make the load on the network a bit less?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, in terms of lessening the load on the network, the way that we read into your files is that we actually hash and encrypt and compress each file individually, and we compress it optimally. So WAV files are treated very differently than XML. Everything is lossless, so you're not going to get any issues with there. And then we also make sure that no data is duplicated ever. So if you're using the same sound or the same sample or the same plugin in 10 different projects, Gobbler's going to recognize that it's going to upload it once and it's never going to upload it again. So it saves time, saves bandwidth, and overall saves you an effort of having to wait for things to get done.
So it must have to have quite tight integration with the various DAWs. What do you support?
Absolutely. We support every major DAW that you can think of. Everything from Pro Tools, Ableton, Logic, Machina. We work directly with them, and we support them all. We're fully integrated into Pro Tools today. We fully integrate into Sonar, into X3. We also integrate with an application called Audiophile Engineering, Triumph's application. And yeah, I mean, literally everybody at the show we support in some way or another, and just trying to make it easy. You know, a lot of musicians work across apps, so our kind of vision of the future is that you can work in Pro Tools and you can work in Logic, and you don't have to have a different cloud for each one of those. You have one cloud for all of your digital media creation, and hopefully that'll be Gobbler.
I guess what sort of price plans do you work at? I mean,
so it's a freemium model. You start at 5 gigs free, and you can get more space. It's similar to Dropbox in that way. You can get more space by inviting your friends. The lowest price point is $4 US per month for a 20 gigabyte account. and it goes up from there. There's no upper limit to how much you can get. We have some people in LA who are using 20 terabytes, in London who are using 15. So there's really, it's up to you how much data you want. And since you're talking to me at NAMM, I've got to give you two cool things. One is there's a code that we're giving away here at the show, but you guys can be here virtually. If you go to gobbler.com/redeem, you can use the code Gobbler Sticks, like Gobbler stickers, Gobbler Sticks, and it'll give you a two-month 50 gigabyte account for free. And you can get started and kind of play around for a while.